Every night, the father sleeps in the same bed as his daughter, yet far from resisting, the daughter actually crawls into her father's arms to sleep. Not only that, but every day she helps her father bathe, and the two even play in roughhouse together like a couple. The reason they engage in such unconventional behavior is that the daughter's body is actually inhabited by her mother's soul. Not long ago, the mother took her daughter back to the countryside to visit her grandfather, but halfway there, the driver fell asleep at the wheel. This caused the coach to veer off the road and plunge down a cliff. Upon hearing the news, the husband rushed straight to the hospital, but his wife had tragically passed away due to her severe injuries. Just as the man was overcome with grief, his daughter suddenly awoke from her coma. The man intended to call a doctor at once, but to his surprise, the daughter addressed him as husband. The man assumed the daughter's brain had been damaged in the crash, but to his astonishment, she insisted that she was his wife, and to prove she was telling the truth, she recounted every detail of their relationship, from the moment they met to when they fell in love, including many secrets known only to him and his wife. Yet even so, the man remained unwilling to believe that his wife's soul had entered his daughter's body. But it was not until the day his daughter instinctively scratched his chin that he was forced to accept that everything she had said was true, because his wife used to scratch his chin just like that every day when she was alive. Though he still found it hard to believe, he nevertheless accepted the fact that his daughter was his wife. To avoid causing unnecessary trouble, they would pretend to be father and daughter in front of others. At home, however, they would bathe together and sleep in the same bed, appearing every bit the loving couple. But as the daughter was still of school age, the man had his wife don the daughter's school uniform to attend classes. Upon arriving at the school, the man immediately sought out the daughter's form tutor, explaining that his daughter had suffered a head injury in a car accident and had consequently lost much of her memory. The teacher harbored no suspicions. In fact, she even made a point of showing off her perfect figure in front of him. Seeing this, the man was momentarily taken aback. When his wife came home from school that evening, he proudly told her all about it. Upon hearing this, his wife immediately grew jealous. She asked him straight away if he wanted to sleep together that night. The man was startled by his wife's words, so that night, he sneaked over to his wife's bed. But he soon stopped what he was doing, for although the person before him housed his wife's soul, the body was, after all, his daughter's, so he simply could not bring himself to go through with it. His wife sensed her husband's inner turmoil, so she took the initiative to grasp his hand and suggested that perhaps it would be better if he covered her face. But the man could never bring himself to act on his own daughter. In the end, the two of them did nothing at all. As time went by, his wife began seeing other men. She would go on trips with a handsome boy from her class, and whenever she was with him, her face would be lit up with a radiant smile. She even spoke to him on the phone every night. The man witnessed all of this, until one evening, he discovered that the boy had actually driven his wife home. Watching the two of them chatting and laughing together, the husband was suddenly overcome with a sense of crisis. He realized that if he didn't take action, his wife might well be taken away by someone else. The next day, when his wife went out on another date with the young man, he immediately stepped forward and, speaking as a father, warned the young man to keep his distance from his daughter from now on. However, this behavior infuriated his wife. She felt the husband had no right to interfere in who she socialized with, and insisted that she and the young man were merely ordinary friends. Yet the man was convinced she was lying, to prove that the man she truly loved was still her husband. That evening she turned off the lights in their bedroom and lay down beside him. But just as he was about to kiss her, he hesitated. In the end, he could not bring himself to cross that mental barrier. When he awoke the next morning, his wife suddenly spoke up, calling him dad, and asked why she was there when she'd clearly been in a car accident. Seeing his wife's reaction, the man immediately realized his daughter's soul had returned. He was both shocked and overjoyed. But the very next moment, he was overcome with sadness, for his daughter's return meant his wife had left him. Yet he soon came to terms with this reality. Time flies. A year passed in the blink of an eye. This day was his daughter's wedding day, and the man she was marrying was none other than that former schoolmate. At the wedding, he handed his daughter over to the young man, watching the two of them walk hand in hand into the future. The man silently offered his blessings to them in his heart. But after the wedding, his daughter instinctively reached out to scratch his chin. The man looked at his daughter, his face filled with shock. At that moment, his daughter realized something was amiss and hastily withdrew her hand. It was then that the man understood everything. It turned out that his wife's soul had been residing within his daughter's body all along. Seeing that his wife remained silent, the man instantly grasped her meaning. In that moment, his heart was filled with anguish. Yet he did not blame his wife. He simply felt that fate had played a cruel trick on them.